Hi, welcome to Tarot Off the Cuff. I am Kevin Quigley, Cassandra Snow, tarot reader, teacher, writer, and theater artist. Their passions lie in the tarot, the written word, and the theater. They strive to make their work both practical and intellectually understandable without avoiding the true depths that human experience offers.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Tarot Off the Cuff. I am Cassandra Snow, and today we are here with the This Might Hurt tarot deck. This is a really lovely sort of modern retelling of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. And so here at Tarot Off the Cuff, we shuffle a little, we pull a card, and then we just kind of dive in. And just now, the card I have pulled is the 8 of Pentacles. This is such a fun card to talk about. There's so many stories that kind of spring to mind. But I think one that really stands out is about the most ambitious theater project I have ever undertaken in my professional life in the theater, which is what I do outside of tarot and witchcraft. I'm a producer, director. And the 8 of Pentacles is one that people get when they are not always this, but sometimes like at a turning point where there's just a lot more learning or scholarship that is needed. And I got it in my head. I'm a huge fan of, if anyone knows the neo-futurist theater movement, they just do, 1 to 3 minute plays or less, a bunch of them in a row. It's very exciting. And I run a LGBTQ centered theater company, and I decided I want to do 60 queer plays in 90 minutes. And so normally my theater company does very simple work. We do, minimal budgets, 4 to 6 actors. We pay everyone as fairly as we can, but that's where the bulk of the budget comes from, that and rent for the space. But with this, I wanted something really powerful and really unique, but also really fun. And I am used to writing. I am used to directing, producing, collaborating. I am maybe not as used to doing all of those things to the extent that pulling together 60 mini sort of micro plays into one 90-minute set would be. And that's not to say I was even super overwhelmed, but a lot of that is because of the lessons of the 8 of Pentacles and cards like it. Because it is, can be a card of sort of studiousness, just jumping in and doing your work one thing at a time, one nail in one, you can't see that, one nail in one pentacle at a time. And so that's how I approached it. I said, okay, I love this. I really want to do it. So the first step was actually not pulling it together. The first step was actually taking some online classes and workshops about bettering my capabilities as a director, as a collaborator, as someone doing devised work. Taking diligent notes, talking about them with potential collaborators, and really going all in on that piece. And sort of at the same time, I was kind of assembling my list of like, okay, who do I think the right person to do this is? And I made a list of 10 people that I wanted to work with, 6 that I were like, if I was picking 6 people from a book, these are the 6 I would want, like ideal, perfect collaborators. I really lucked out because those 6 said yes. And instead of inviting those others in, I decided to have some auditions and do it sort of the old-fashioned way. So that's what I did, and I was left with this really amazing group. And it still felt like the project was a little bit above my level, and it probably was at the time, truly. But what I love about the 8 of Pentacles and what I really have internalized about it over time and over the years is that most things are achievable by going one piece at a time. And most things are achievable by just jumping in and doing the work. And it was also really important to me as someone who really likes to look at the tarot from sort of a queer perspective, a lot of what I see in the Pentacles that is showing up in a lot of books now, but didn't for a long time, is community collaboration, community resources, people really working together to make something happen. And the way that that is just as impactful as some of them, if not more so than some of the more traditional interpretations of the Pentacles cards. And so I was really excited to sort of have this Eight of Pentacles project where I was still learning. And in some ways I felt like I was a student of this micro play process. And I was, but I had that really good Pentacles team around me that we really worked to sustain each other. And it was so much a step-by-step, one thing at a time. Sometimes if you're in theater, the way everything works together, it's all kind of on top of each other and it feels very messy. And it's definitely for a specific personality. And I think that could have worked for 60 queer plays and 90 queer minutes, ended up being the subtitle of it. But instead I was like, okay, what would I do if I was a student? So, I made outlines. Here's what needs to happen. I kind of broke it down step by step. And I think that's very present in the Eight of Pentacles as well. And instead of going in every day and going, oh gosh, this project is so huge, how am I going to rein in 60 plays? Pentacles really connect to the earth, and the element of earth. And instead I thought, how can I do what I need to do, but leave space for this thing to breathe and become what it needs to be? And so I worked really hard to not work overly hard, if that makes sense. And I think the Eight of Pentacles, we sometimes think of that tedious, like almost detail-oriented work that is so important. But again, to me, it felt like that was going to go so much easier if I took it one breath at a time, one step at a time. And so I had my outline. And so first I worked with the writers and we wrote 60 shows, and then I sort of edited, curated, put it in order myself. That was the next step. And then was rehearsal. After a couple weeks of rehearsal, it was okay, well, now we need some edits. And so a week or so of editing on its feet, which was a really fun, beautiful, collaborative process. And then a couple more weeks of, okay, now we're really for real rehearsing this thing. We're off book. The shows are what they are going to be. And I was so fascinated by the end of the run. I was giving, in approaching this from a let's do it one thing at a time, one step at a time, let's learn as we go, that curiosity that I was able to approach that really big collaboration with. By the last couple of days of rehearsal, I was really not giving the amount of notes that I normally would give to performers. Everyone was really self-sufficient, but everyone was also very community efficient. I didn't have to step in about minor blocking things because I had actors that would say blocking is how you move in a play. So like move stage left or stage right, go off stage, etc. Because I had actors that would say, oh, hey, that looked a little bit messy. Let's take a second and clean it up. Which is like a dream as a director, and a producer and a collaborator, just seeing everyone really work together. And it was also very humbling. And I do think of this Eight of Pentacles as a very humble card. It's someone who does the work, and lets things grow into what they're going to grow into and be what they're going to be. So I really had a lovely time approaching it from that perspective. It was humbling in the sense that by the end, I didn't feel like a big director person. I felt like, oh, wow, look at this thing this great group of people did together. And all I really did was pull them together and make the space. And so I also think too, now when I pull an Eight of Pentacles, I think about, okay, well, how can I make space and leave room for this thing to be what it is? And when that is something more personal, that experience through the eyes of this card has taught me, okay, how can I let the work happen through me? but in a way that isn't centering myself or isn't claiming expertise that I don't have. And is just taking it a piece at a time, learning as I go. But it really hammered home in activist community a lot. We talk about co-leading, co-teaching. I think that that's such an important tool of the Eight of Pentacles. It's sometimes looked at as like an apprenticeship. And I think kind of putting yourself in the position of, I almost want to say something corny, like an apprentice of life or something like that, or in what you're doing, can be so much more useful and beneficial than assuming that you having a leadership role means that you know anything else than anyone else in the project or in the process. So yeah, every time I pull this card, and what I love about it, you can kind of see details on it. So in addition to this person doing this, you know, whatever project that is that they're doing, if you look behind, you see like these cranes. And it's like that idea of one piece at a time, one thing at a time, but it's still this mechanical movement. And I don't even mean that I feel like that can sound negative, but that's not how I mean it. I much more mean, really things are working like they're supposed to. There's almost a hands-off approach, but if you know construction, you know someone is making sure those cranes go where they need to do and do what they need to do. And so that is what I think about when I think about the Eight of Pentacles. I think about that time that I applied this really practical cards lessons very practically. So that's something that's been really valuable to me. And I think has helped me understand the card differently, because it's about the learning as you're doing. It's about the community. And it's about letting the learning happen, letting it go through you, and giving it space to grow, giving it space to flourish. So thank you so much for joining me here at Tarot Off the Cuff. Very honored to be here every time I am here. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Cassandra Snow, and this was the This Might Hurt Tarot.
Hi, thanks for watching. This is Kevin Quigley with Tarot Off the Cuff. If you can take a second, click the subscribe button down below. That'll let you know when a new video is posted and you might want to jump over and watch it. If you hit the thumbs up for the videos that you really like, that will help spread the word so new people will find Tarot Off the Cuff in their feed, and that helps the channel grow. That would be great. And if you got a question or a comment, positive or negative, whether you agree or disagree, or if you want to add information or your own take on a particular card or a particular topic, put a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much.